Good morning. Good morning, my lovelies. I feel like it's been a while since I've been in here doing a live. I think we've had some guest speakers popping in and working their magic, and absolutely love that. If you guys didn't jump in on Naomi or Carrie's stuff in the last couple of weeks, please go revisit those because they are just completely eye-opening and just magic and ahas and like, oh, no wonder, right? So that's what this is all about. This is what the Academy is all about. So we are heading into the helpful people and travel area. So we're actually starting that module next week, and I looked on the schedule and I was like, oh, that's the day before Thanksgiving. So I wanted to pop in a week early and introduce the module so that you guys can start to access the support before we head into this, crazy making holiday season, right? So so we're supposed to start next week. I was like, let's just get in there a little bit early. Let's line up that support and have everybody feeling good before we launch into the Thanksgiving holiday, and then to line up the whole holiday season, right? Once Thanksgiving pops in, all of a sudden we're moving into holiday craziness. So it was just right before I jumped on here, the thing that popped into my head was, isn't it interesting how these, I love it so much. And I hope you guys do too. The correlations between these areas and the time of year is just so amazing and magical. So this area, the helpful people and travel area, is all about that serendipitous support that the universe puts out there. It's all about spirituality. It's all about support and those unseen and seen forces of support, right? So it's the universe having your back and showing up just at the right moment, so to place you in the perfect place at the right time, meeting the right people, having the most perfect circumstances align for you. The of course moments, right? That's what we like, hashtag of course moments. So that is when you are in alignment, particularly in this area, right? Then those things are just magically lining up for you. And that is the helpful people and the support element of this area. So I think it's very fitting that around Thanksgiving, we're all gathering, our community is gathering, our people are gathering. We're kind of figuring it out again, right? Like connecting and, celebrating each other. At least I hope that's what you're doing. I know holidays can be a little bit maddening and out of, make us feel like it's pulling us out of alignment. So that's why it's super important to focus in and get into alignment with this particular space as the holiday season shows up, because then instead of feeling like it's crazy making, if you are feeling centered and aligned, then everybody around you will feel that, right? And there will be less bickering, and there will be less stress, and there will be less drama and lack of coordination, right? Because these holiday seasons take a lot of coordination. There's a lot of people involved. And so when this area is working for you, then all of that stuff is just easier. So isn't it amazing that this whole thing follows these seasons, and we've got these holidays that have been around for centuries, some that have been around for thousands of years, that of course they're happening at this time of year, right? Of course. Now that we're out of alignment with the natural cycles and the seasons and all of that kind of stuff that we used to completely rely on, we don't see the connections as clearly. And so I think it's just so beautiful to dive back in and see where these holidays and rituals and all that kind of stuff came from, right? Like, no wonder that we do these things. We've lost touch with why we do these things, right? And so it's just really important to understand why we do them, and why this time of year and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just love that. And no doubt, there's a bit of traveling going on either for you or for someone you love. And how crazy is it that this is the Helpful People and Travel area, right? So it's all about like transitions and getting from point A to point B successfully. It's transitions in your life that are happening. You may be having some really big epiphanies. I was talking about in the creativity area, how that time of year, or, the previous season, we're kind of into late fall right now. So early fall, the veil is really thin, and you might be downloading a ton of information and, epiphanies and awakenings, and seeing like, oh my gosh, there's the pattern, right? The patterns are becoming more clear. And when they become more clear, then you can do something about it and you can catch yourself in it. The pattern may not completely disappear, especially during times of stress, but I tell you exactly what it does. It starts to, once you see yourself get into the pattern, you can quickly pluck yourself out of it, right? And that's the magic. And you can see, those things happening, and you can see yourself like spiraling down, and then you can pull yourself back up more quickly, right? Because you have the tools and you have all that stuff. Hey, Willow, how you doing, sweetheart? Good morning. So talking about the connection between, we're diving into the Helpful People area a week early because it's holiday season coming up, and just talking about the connection. You can go back and watch, but the connection between the modules and the Bagua areas and the seasons that we're in, and the things that are happening right now, with holidays and all that kind of stuff, and how amazing. I don't believe in coincidences, but I think it's, the perfect word for it, that all of these are like coincidental, right? Just so aligned with what we're doing and how we're feeling, and the season we're in and all that kind of stuff. So so having this particular area in your house in alignment, right, and having that support lined up is just going to help you maintain that higher vibration, right? We talk a lot about maintaining a higher vibration. So this is a tool you can use to keep your vibration higher. And when your vibration is higher, around, everyone around you feels it, and their vibration raises. And so instead of that feeling like they're kind of sucking off of you, right, and pulling that energy off of you, maintaining yourself and keeping your vibration raised and supporting you with self-care, right? Taking time for meditation, taking time for journaling, taking time for you in whatever that looks like, getting some exercise, even if it's just stretching for 10 minutes a day and meditating for 5 minutes a day. Just take that 20 minutes, journaling for 5, take those 20 minutes, those 30 minutes a day to keep yourself in alignment and clear out that Helpful People area, right? The Helpful People area is all about gray is the color. I like to use silver. I find myself wearing a lot of gray this time of year, which is interesting. I guess I'm just tuned into the feng shui. But that also is the Helpful People area is also related to the chakra that's above your head. It's your spiritual chakra. And we can get Gina and Laura to talk more about that. And so it's your spirituality. It's that connection to that higher power. if you believe in angels or, you know, whatever it is that you believe in, it's that connection to universe, right? It's that connection to that source and that universal power outside of us. So we have this like power within us, and then we also are pulling in the power without, you know, outside of us to co-create into the world. And so it's related to that, right? And having that guiding force, those angels, you know, for lack of better word, whether you guys believe in angels or not, you can kind of depict the feeling of having those support angels all around you and, you know, clearing the path for you all the time, you know, when you're on a trip, you know, visualizing that the path is totally clear and there's no obstacles, there's no stress, you're just getting from point A to point B, and doing that within your life, right? Getting through the holiday season, getting through the holiday shopping, right? With ease. And just before you start the day, you know, calling in those angels or calling in that support, whatever it is, having them on your shoulders, you know, or above you or around you, whatever you guys want to do, whatever feels right to you. I'm just talking about terminology that I, you know, use. And it helps me to kind of see these little beings around me, like supporting me, you know, helping me, guiding me through the process, basically. And that's what this area is all about. So it's all about your spirituality. So whatever that means for you, whether it's God or it's universe or it's source or whatever you want to call it, right? I just like to think of these angelic beings around me, supporting me. It just helps me stay in that higher vibration, that they're there to guide me. And so it helps me relax because I'm like, okay, whenever I meet that resistance, right? We're ending this time of this patriarchal, I think I said that right, time where the masculinity, I think I said that right, this time of this linear pushing through, push, we're heading into this more feminine era, right? And so I know you guys, all you guys in here are feeling that, right? And it's all about receiving instead of pushing, right? So taking the time to care for ourselves, to find the time to get quiet, to meditate so that we can receive the information, the intuitive hits, so that we can take that intuitive action, right? Intuitive action is all about, Willow says, this is so spot on with my personal journey as well. Exactly. Feminine genius. Yes, we talked about this, the book Feminine Genius. I totally want to dig into that. I am reading a couple of books. I'm always reading like 6 different books. It's just, I don't know. It's just who I am. And we talked about this, Willow. That's definitely on the list. So it's all about, instead of like pushing through and like meeting resistance and then charging through, it's all about being like, okay, I'm meeting resistance. What is this resistance about, right? Taking a little bit of a step back so that you can understand what the resistance is, and then being able to move through, right? Rather than just like charging through and doing this very masculine, like, conquer the world, right? So, so that we're in this time of letting the universe, letting the angels, letting your spirit guides, whatever you want to call it, right? Letting the source guide us. And in order to let that happen, we have to step back into what feels good for us, right? If we're always blasting through and feeling obligated and feeling burdened and feeling scheduled, you know, that we're always just, we wake up in the morning and we're like, ugh, you know, like, here we go again, right? We're not going to hear those intuitive hits, right? We're in that world. I don't know about you guys, but I have been feeling like when I live in that world, when I live in that masculine world, I get so burnt out so quickly because it just feels so off to me. And what I'm realizing with the more I dive into this self-actualization process is that it doesn't work. It may work for some people, but eventually they burn out too, right? So now that we're getting into this more feminine aspect, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, so it is supposed to be easier, right? It is supposed to be a quieter, easier life, right? Where you take the time to take care of yourself, and then you're rewarded with it with action steps, these intuitive actions that you take during that day. It doesn't mean that you don't take action, right? The link that is missing a lot of times is the link between the masculine and the feminine, right? The masculine is all about action and the feminine is all about receiving. So we're trying to balance those energies, right? We receive the information that we need to act on, right? And when we connect those two things, that's when the magic happens, right? That's when the manifesting happens. That's when it all comes together. So taking that time for self-care and listening in and having those actions come through, even if they seem like crazy, right? And you're like, where the hell did that come from? I don't even understand that. But then having the courage to act on it anyways, because you know you're being divinely guided, boom. That's when the magic happens, okay? So, I love it. And of course, you guys, I teach what I have to learn, right? So never think that I am like on a pedestal, like preaching down to you. I'm up on my soapbox, like, come on, you guys, let's do this. You know, it's exactly what I am going through right now. And I am teaching you guys through my own experiences. Okay. So, the stuff that is flooding through for me right now is just all about this. And I tell you, when you act in this way and you discover this way of being, it's just absolutely amazing. I'm just learning about the inner critic and playing small, and I'm gonna totally tell you guys about that as soon as I, digest it. But there's this coming around for women right now that society has put these barriers up, right? And we've all tapped into it, and we don't even know that we've tapped into it, right? Because it's just so much part of our presence here on earth right now in this time. And there's so much awakening happening around this feminine intelligence that it's just an explosive time for women. And I'm so excited to be riding that wave right now and discovering all these things and helping you guys discover them within yourselves. We are basically keeping ourselves held down, and we can blame society. Absolutely, we can blame society, but it really comes down to society is not going to fix this for us, right? We have to fix it internally, and we have to understand where we're holding ourselves back and then change that pattern and move into shining our light brighter, playing bigger, right? And whatever that feels like for you. For me, it feels like I'm not playing big enough right now. It feels like I'm not shining my light big enough, bright enough right now. And so I am exploring all of that within myself, but I'm taking baby steps, right? I'm not just like jumping in and burning out. I'm taking it on a daily basis. And so that's what I encourage you guys to do as well. So, all right. I know you guys have important things to do today. So I want you to focus in on your helpful people areas, right? That's what I'm going to post the helpful people module today. I will post that for you so you have all of the information. But adding elements of silver, adding those twinkly lights, adding things that feel more spiritual and angelic, lightening that area, brightening that area, make it feel more inviting, like you're inviting that support in, right? Here is huge one for this area. For all of you that have husbands, this is the father area of the house. And so when you shift things in this area of the house, maybe add a picture of your husband or add some of his things to that area, and, you know, light a candle, say a prayer around it, set that intention, you will see him start to shift in his level of support within the house, right? Within the home, within your lives. You will see that shift. I manipulated I don't like that word. I shifted some things in my helpful people area last week. And I woke up Saturday morning to my husband cleaning the entire kitchen and him being like, which is our knowledge and self-cultivation area, which he's been really struggling with lately. And him just being like, I feel like I'm out of sorts. I feel like, you know, in his words, he didn't say I'm out of alignment, but that's exactly what he was meaning, that, you know, he needed to figure some things out. And so he was cleaning the kitchen. So if you haven't started believing in feng shui yet, which I know you guys all do, but the fact that the force of that energy in the house pulled him exactly where he needed to be to figure out this stuff, to understand this self journey, this inner journey for himself, and the fact that he's cleaning out the kitchen area is amazing to me. And the fact that he didn't even know what he was really doing and trying to tap into, but felt that energetic pull to be in that area is just amazing to me. So by clearing out that area, he was able to open up a channel to get the information that he needed, right? And that's what we're doing. We're clearing out the junk, right? We're clearing out the old patterns, we're clearing out the old fears, the old doubts, and we are tapping into that trueness that is our inner core, our inner being, right? It's not this like outside chatter, it's not the inner critic, it's the inner core of us that's aligned. It's that being that's inside of us and, you know, being channeled through. So yeah, it's just powerful stuff, you guys. Powerful. So get those adjustments in there. Good morning, Kathy. Oh no, Kathy, we're just ending right now. Watch the replay, darling. And I think this is really some really super impactful stuff for you specifically. So rewind. I'm going to finish this right now. Rewind, watch it, and implement these things. I will post in the group the assignment for this week, and get those husbands supporting you in a way that feels really good, okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with that, all right? I will be in the group if you have any questions. Always ask. I'm always available. So there you go, you guys. I will talk to you soon. Love you.